Impact segment tonight, as we mentioned in the talking points memo, if President Obama doesn't start solving problems soon, his administration is likely to go down in history as one of the worst. Joining us now from Washington, Mary Katharine Ham, in the studio, Juan Williams, both are Fox News analysts. So you've been very generous to the president, but I think Brit Hume is right. I mean, he's heading for a place where he's going to, down in history as a failure, big failure.
I disagree, but I think that he's having trouble, and I don't think there's any question that there's doubt about his ability to react constructively and get it done, especially in terms of bipartisanship, working with the Congress. This immigration reform thing has not happened. He can point fingers at the Republicans, but
it's beyond. When you have an al-Baghdadi defying him, speaking in Mosul, Iraq,
that was
saying,
awful.
We're gonna attack everybody, and we don't care, because he obviously doesn't fear Obama. He doesn't fear him.
Well, apparently he doesn't fear anything. But I don't understand why we didn't take that guy out.
I don't either. They let him out. We had him in custody under the Bush administration.
Yeah, that's before. But I'm saying now, if he's going to stand up in Mosul, I would think that we could locate him and kill him.
I don't know about that. All I know is that you have this army now that is now entrenched. They are fearless. They don't think that we're going to do anything. And for weeks, President Obama has dithered and done nothing when he could have degraded that army from the air. We have the ability to do it. He doesn't pull a trigger on it. And he doesn't explain why he doesn't pull a trigger on it. It's not about putting anybody in the ground, boots on the ground. It's about degrading an army that is threatening America. And then you go down to the border. And you go down to the border, and now we have, he says last week, yeah, we're going to try to deport these Central American children, and now they're not going to try to deport them. We're going to have the latest with Ed Henry in a moment on this. It looks like he is weak. He doesn't know what to do. And he doesn't care. He's not even going down to the border when he's in Texas.
He's saying that he's going to deport most of these kids.
Now he says he may not.
But I think the ABC report that you showed, Bill, indicates that, in fact, most of these kids don't even show up for the deportation hearing.
Right.
And in the Middle East, what you've got is a situation where I think we got to be careful who we bomb, because we don't want to support al-Bashir, the bad guys.
Juan, you got to degrade these guys soon. They're heading for Jordan. All right, Mary Katharine. Now,
yes.
I'm still trying to figure out why President Obama doesn't know where he is. Where he is. And where he is a failure across the board. I don't know why he doesn't see that and do something.
Yeah, I don't think he sees it. Here's the thing. I think we've talked about this before. He is reactive, not proactive. And when something becomes a crisis, he suddenly decides, okay, well, I guess I have to do something about this. Unfortunately, often the thing is, I'm going to give a speech and set up a straw man and burn that sucker down by saying, there are some who say there are perfect solutions to this problem. But this is a very complex problem. Yes, we understand that. Part of the issue with being the president is that figuring out what those complex problems are earlier makes it easier to do something about them.
But it's worse than that. You got a mayor of Marietta, California, saying, nobody even called me.
Yeah,
they just showed up.
Right, I did want to address that.
Nobody called us. I mean, this is out of control stuff now.
Right, and I think you're right, Bill. You were right to point out about the spitting. Obviously, that is, and I think the mayor did a good job of condemning that. But this city has a right to have questions about how we're going to deal with this.
All the people who live there have a right to know, what are you going to do? You're sending them to us, and we're supposed to do what?
And by the way, it's not just people who object to this kind of thing, to this influx, that have questions. The Associated Press has asked the administration 7 times how many of these Central American immigrants have been released into the country, and they refuse to answer. So I think that opacity does not help them gain trust and make policy.
I believe, Juan, if Barack Obama were the CEO of a major U.S. corporation, the stockholders would fire him.
Yeah, well, that's what you're seeing in the polls, isn't it?
Do you believe that?
No.
If he were the head of a major corporation, he'd be done.
At this point, the numbers, I think he's at the lowest level right now.
And going down, falling.
Well, I don't know if he's falling, but he's certainly at the lowest level. But let me just say, remember, he has tried, and you heard this from the mayor, to try to get a comprehensive plan. Republicans and Democrats in the Senate agreed to it, but Republicans in the House continue to block it.
If he had a plan, he would have tried it when he had a friendly Democratic Congress. He refused to do that because it was not one of his top priorities.
I don't even care. when the ship hits the iceberg,
it's the
you
captain.
don't call up and say, I told you there were icebergs around. You got to save the ship, Juan.
That's it. And so that's what people want to see. That's
right.
why everybody's
and we're
frustrated.
not seeing anything.
Well, that's right. So that's legit on your part.
Thank you.
But I'm just saying that you got to say, you know what? There's been a lot of people contributing to this madness, this chaos.
How many persons are president?
There's one at the moment.
Thank you. Juan Williams, everyone. Mary Katharine.